My name is Jessica, and I'm going to moderate our today's session. Like yesterday, I'm really glad to see many of the faces or names as well from the people we have seen yesterday. And I'd like to thank, first of all our collaborators in making this challenge happen. So thank you to the E-Project, Reflow, to Onesta, and to Dan Benedict Peaks, who also had the opportunity yesterday to speak about their projects, their work, their initiatives. So thank you to them. And also obviously to Ideas Forward, who Nikolaus is also here today from one of our collaborators and co-organizers of today's challenge. Thank you for you as well. And yes, I would like to also start ahead and say thank you to all the applications we have received. It is always great to see so many initiatives who are part or aiming to be part of the circular economy and working towards more circular practices. That is really great to see. And we were delighted to go through each of every message of yours. Nikolaus, as I mentioned before, Nico, you had the amazing opportunity to receive all these emails and applications, and I'm sure it was not easy to choose the right ones, but today we have our 5 finalists, and they will have the opportunity to pitch their ideas for around 7 minutes with at 10:30. I will go into the agenda in more detail later. And then we have a quick Q&A afterwards. And while the jury deliberates, we will have a nice roundtable discussion, but more to that later. So Julie, please feel free also to share any social media challenges from Pop Machina in the chat. So you can join our newsletter or join any of our Twitter and Facebook accounts whatsoever to see the latest news of Pop Machina. Pop Machina was a project that was making it happen, this challenge happen. So it's really exciting to see how, for example, within Pop Machina, our 7 pilot cities are at the moment creating circular maker spaces. So if you're curious about that, please join our newsletter and you'll get more information about this and potentially also the new Making It Circular challenge next year. So let's see what that year's topic will be. And before moving forward to today's agenda, a quick side note. I would like to acknowledge the diversity and of all our participants. We're from all over Europe, maybe even beyond. And we would like to mention that we do not accept any rude or discriminating comments about age, race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or disability in the chat. Please be as kind and respectful to all our participants as you would like to be treated yourself. We hope for that we can encourage a very fruitful conversation, and I think we were able to see this already yesterday, how fruitful it can be. So thank you for that. And like yesterday as well, the recording will be made available shortly after the session. We already see on YouTube actually the recording from yesterday's session, so the team is really quick on this one. That's exciting. And we will also send out an email after the challenge with all useful links, information. The participants from yesterday will share their presentations as well. We've seen a lot of really useful information there as well, so that's really good. And if there are no questions or anything in the chat from Julie, I would move forward with today's agenda. So today's agenda will be as following. We will hear from our 5 contestants, each of them pitching their ideas, their work, what they're currently working on in a 7 minutes pitch or talk. We will have an extra 3 minutes for a Q&A really briefly from the jury members or from any of our attendees to ask them a little bit more in detail what they're actually doing and for the jury to help them to make their decision. This will be at 10:30 CET. After that, our jury will come together and will actually make the decision. While the happening while they're making their decision, we will be in a roundtable discussion with our startups, social enterprises at 11:20. And there we will have 3 amazing moderators joining us who will guide us through this conversation. They will have maybe more questions and we will be able to elaborate more on the topic of circular economy and how our contestants are actually applying that. So I'm very curious about that at 11:20 to go into the roundtable discussion with our contestants. Then at around, let me see, 12 o'clock is the most exciting moment from today, I would say. At 12 o'clock, our jury members will come back latest, I would say. I hope it will be a quick deliberation. And then we will be able to give out our awards from Unesta, Benedict Peaks, and Ideas Forward, obviously also from Pop Machina, to our contestants. And I'm very excited to see that. So please stay tuned for this as well, for all the participants joining at this moment. And then just moving forward. I'm a little bit ahead of time. Unfortunately, I'm too quick with talking, Mom, sometimes. I'm sorry for that.
It takes urgency to do the right work, so don't worry about it. At least today, it's all about urgency, to make change, to bring change in the world, so don't worry about it.
Thank you, Nikos. I think I'm just very excited to hear actually from our contestants and to hear from our jury members later on. And I just love to move forward. So yeah, Julie, let me please know if there's any questions already in the chat. If not, do not worry, maybe later on, just so I make sure that we cover all of these topics as soon as possible. Exactly. So really quick wrap up. At I will say 10:10, I will start introducing our jury members. I hope everyone has been able to join from now on. Then at 10:30, we will invite our contestants to present their work, each of them having 7 minutes for their pitch. At 11:20, we will join our roundtable discussion with Helen, Angela, and Matthias, and our contestants. And later at 12 o'clock is a awarding ceremony. Let's see how great we can do this through online. Obviously, that would be more exciting doing it in person, but we will make this work like this as well. So I see many faces right now that is very excited. I think all of our contestants have joined by now. So let me please take a...
Not yet, we're missing
one. Thank you, Julie. I thought we already have everyone. Thank you. Well, I take another quick sip and then I will introduce our jury members and will also give them a brief moment to say a bit more about themselves. So 1 second, please. So let's go ahead with this. Firstly, I would like to introduce a coworker of mine. She sits probably around 10 meters away from me in another room. But I would like to introduce Alessandra Schmidt. I will briefly say something about you, but please afterwards feel free to say a bit more, because I know you know yourself better than I do. So Alessandra Schmidt is an enterprises administrator and social development specialist. She coordinates EU research operations at Fablab Barcelona, where I'm located at right now, which is a department of the Institute of Advanced Architecture of Catalonia, which we also like to call IAC, as a bit quicker and catchier. Her work is particularly focused on supporting local communities of practice, pathways for situated innovation, gender transformation, and pushing positive societal change and transformation outcomes one step forward across local communities. She's a PhD candidate in management sciences at ESADE, which is here in Barcelona as well, with MSc and MRAS, respectively at UCL and ESADE. And she has a certificate in social entrepreneurship at INSEAD. I hope I say that right. Please, Alessandra, feel free to say a bit more about yourself.
Good morning, everyone. What I can say about myself right now is that I'm having a lot of fun and I'm super excited to hear about all your projects. Thank you for inviting me to be here. I was already looking in your profiles, and I am looking forward to hear more about your ideas and eventually make some questions to make us think all together. Thank you, Jess, for your lovely introduction and the event today and yesterday. It has been very, very, very exciting.
Thank you, Alessandra. Yeah, as I mentioned, you literally sit 10 meters away from me, behind me. So it's kind of weird, but I think this is how it goes. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, as you mentioned, we already had an amazing day yesterday with great speakers and participants being there. And with this, I would like to move forward to one of our other jury members today. And I already said briefly hi to him before in our introduction round, let's say before 10 o'clock. Erwan, please feel free also afterwards to say a bit more about yourself, but I would introduce you briefly now. Erwan is the director of Ekovala, a consultancy bureau based in Finland, focusing on sustainability and circular innovation. Erwan combines practice with research at the University of Vaasa, which is also in Finland, and regularly lectures on circular business model innovation. And I think there we're already right on topic as well for today's session. Erwan has 17 years experiences in managing sustainability projects for private and public organizations across Europe, from the implementation of environmental management systems, carbon footprint calculations, to the design of sustainability and circular economy action plans. Please, Erwan, feel free to say a bit more about yourself. I hope you're still here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks a lot for this quick introduction, and I'm very happy to be here as well and listen about those ideas that startup will present in the coming minutes. Just one word. So beyond my activities as a consultant, I'm also currently part of this Reflow project. That is a sister project from Pop Machina, and we are also looking at transformation towards circularity for cities, and we are looking at it from a multi-level perspective, so looking at material innovation, product and services innovation, data and tech innovation, obviously business model innovation, and also governance approaches towards circular cities. So there's definitely strong connections with the Pop Machina project and the topic of this 2 days event. We've had Anne Wislott yesterday talking actually about what's happening in Weiler, and she's a strong partner with the city of Weiler of the Reflow project, where we also try to tackle the plastic challenge at city level. So obviously I'm very interested in hearing more about possible solutions here, and see if maybe there's connections in possibly looking at how those solutions could be implemented, or getting inspired from those solutions to actually implement this in other European cities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erwan. Before I move along, may you please also just very briefly tell us the other pilot cities of Reflow, maybe, if you may. I think it would be great to know also maybe for our contestants where to reach out to locally.
Yeah. So Reflow is active in Paris, France, in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, in Vejle in Denmark, in Milan in Italy, then in Berlin, Germany, and in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. And each city actually has a specific focusing on specific waste or resource streams, whether it's about wood in Paris, plastic in Vejle, whether it's about textile waste in Amsterdam, food waste in municipal markets in Milan, or heat water waste in Berlin, or energy efficiency aspects in Cluj-Napoca. So we're trying to look at the transition to circular cities from different starting points, but also trying to learn from each other and develop the possibilities to replicate these approaches in other European cities.
Thank you, Erwan. We already see the complexity of the circular economy in all the different kind of ways how to approach it there with the diversity of the city's approaches, right? Very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. So yeah, thank you for that. The third member of our jury is Dimitrios. I see him already as well here. Thank you, Dimitrios, for joining. I will briefly introduce you. I do not know you personally, but Nico was so nice to kind of share with you, with us, your bio. And afterwards, you will also have a moment to go in more detail about yourself. So very briefly, thank you, Dimitrios, for joining today and for being one of our jury members. He holds a thank you. He holds a PhD in computer sciences and an MSc in software engineering telecommunication from the University of Sheffield. He has been involved in technology research, software system design, and new product development since 2005. This has been through various roles: research and development software engineer, PhD researcher, technology and product innovation consultant, company founder and advisor to growing businesses, and angel investor. A variety here. Wow, impressive. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. And let me go a little bit more in detail. He also worked in a wide range of software engineering research and product development projects involving cloud service architectures, semantic technologies, data analytics, and the Internet of Things. He also worked with early stage technology startups on product discovery and investment readiness. And I think that is very valuable also for today. And currently he's managing partner of Ideas Forward and a technical consultant for the European Commission Joint Research Centre, the Sustainable Transport Unit. So thank you so much for joining and being part of the jury. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the kind invitation. I'm very happy to be here. So Nikos has provided quite a detailed bio. So I'm very much interested. Nikos is probably the most enthusiastic person in this city, in Thessaloniki, about circularity. So he's the right partner. And at Ideas Forward, we believe that technology innovation can be a force of positive change in the world. And circularity is in our research agenda. Personally, I've been working lately on other aspects of sustainable development, mostly having to do with decarbonization of transport, and this is another thing on our research agenda as well. So at Ideas Forward, what we do is we explore the application of new technologies to all problems, and also explore the potential of innovative business models. So, and I'm very much interested. So we combine this technology background with the understanding of risk management in designing new business models. I'm very much interested in understanding the risk involved in every new business model, be it profit or non-profit, viability risk, desirability risk, feasibility risk, and I hope I'll be able to give some feedback today. So thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you for joining us. I think we have already very diverse backgrounds here, which will be very fruitful for giving feedback, for the jury to deliberate, to look at from different aspects to our contestants from today. That's amazing. And I think as many people may relate when they are starting new with the idea, trying to set up their own company or similar, I think the risk management or the understanding of sustainable business models, maybe different shift to new business models, is a very challenging one. So it's great to have some expertise from different jury members, as you also, for example, for that, to that. So thank you so much. I want to move ahead with our fourth jury member. I hope he has also joined already. I'm checking
Yes,
right
you
now.
can.
Ah.
It's under the name Mehmet, but it's not Mehmet.
Okay, thank you, not Mehmet, but let me introduce you really briefly, and please also, as I mentioned earlier, feel free afterwards to introduce yourself in more detail. Mevlut has been completed his BS from Fira University in Turkey and has attended the Virginia Commonwealth University in the United States in the Department of Mechanical and Nuclear Energy. That's very interesting, as you say. He has gotten Master in Science and PhD degrees from that school and has afterward worked for Istac, one of our project partners from Pop Machina, as a project management supervisor and R&D supervisor. Nowadays, he is part of a project and business manager of Istanbul Environmental Management Company from Istac. So that was a very brief introduction. Please feel free to go in more detail now.
Hi, Jessica. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well. Great,
Okay,
thank
okay.
you.
It's good to see you all, and hi from Turkey. As you said, like my name is in that scene, Mehmet, but my name is Mevlut Fatih. Because I had some problems with my account because I was in the middle of vacation. And actually, I'm the project and business manager of Istac. Istac is the waste management company in Istanbul, and it's a public company. Belong to Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, and we are dealing all types of waste: municipal, medical waste, industrial waste, excavation waste, whatever you can remember. Actually, we are dealing with like 10,000 tons municipal waste each day. We make some activities like recycling, recovering activities, and disposing, energy recovery. Also, these are the activities of our company. And as you said, like circular economy is very important recently, and we give very importance to this project, and we are very proud to be part of Pop Machina project, and it is really good to be a part of this activity, you know. And thank you for choosing us as a jury member, and we are very happy to be part of team. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining. I hope you don't have too many troubles while joining on vacation. So thank you so much for dedication on this side. So yeah, then we have almost all of our jury members. We also do have a jury member from UNESTA, one of our partners in organizing this event. Either Nicolas or Ines will join later on today, as far as I know, and who will be part of the team of deliberating who of our contestants will be receiving some awards after obviously they have been having the chance to present their own work. So I heard that they were still missing one of our contestants. I hope they will be able to join soon. Until then, I think Nicolaus already contacted them.
Yeah, I did. And we had 5 contestants. Now we have 4. There's some personal reasons, and they apologize, but they cannot join today.
Okay. Thank you so much for letting us know. It's very unfortunate that Bamboo City waste pickers will not be able to join today. But let's move along then with our remaining 4 contestants. We're really excited to hear from them. I see some of their faces already right now, which is exciting. Again, I'm a little bit early. I was trying to make up time, but apparently I'm just really bad with making up time and just too German about this.
Again, it's all about urgency. So I think we're going to finish earlier today, or at least we're going to have much more time to discuss during the roundtable and talk about things that happen on the field in different countries and see how we can learn from that, or how we can support these teams with ideas and expertise. So welcome everyone. I'm taking over, right?
Yes, please. This is your moment. Thank you so much.
This is my moment to shine. Okay, so welcome everyone. So this is the a bit less formal than typical competitions that we have, and the reason is simple. It's the teams that are dealing with circular making, with making in general, are more hands-on makers. They're more active. They're more on the ground in the field. So it's much more important for them to work on what they have, what the community can give, and how they work with community members. So it's not that formal in essence, like you have in startup competitions where you have ICT startups with 20 pages decks and financials and so on. So basically what we wanted to hear is people giving it a shot, having traction and having the impact, or creating the impact that they want to do in their local communities. So just to start, we were supposed to have 5 competitors. We now have 4. One City waste makers apologized, but they couldn't make it today. And I think I'm going to start with, for the process, as Jessica said, you have 5 minutes to present yourself and your effort, and then there's going to be 3 minutes questions from the jury members. So I'm going to start with SALUBATA. Now, some of the names I really might say it wrongly, but correct me whenever you feel like it. So we're going to start with SALUBATA and Mr. Fela Akinse, if I'm pronouncing that correct. The startup is in France, via France, now in Delaware, United States, as far as I can see in their website. And the mission is to invent lifestyle technologies that help people and the planet. Their very first product line, as far as I could tell, is shoes made out of plastic. So I think, Fela, the floor is yours to tell us more about your efforts. Just to let you know, I will be keeping time. So I'm going to let you know at the final minute to wrap it up. Fela, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can I go ahead? Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Fela, and I'm the CEO and also a co-founder at SALUBATA. And we're here in France, Paris. And at SALUBATA, our mission is to invent lifestyle technologies that help people and the planet. Over the past few months, we've got recurrent revenue. We bootstrapped to date to have a recurrent revenue of about $10,000 in monthly recurrent revenue, and currently have over 1,400 customers. And so for us, beyond our immediate revenue and our customers, we've also got numerous awards locally, regionally, and globally. And so we are currently part of the 500 Startups Accelerator. Now, the question is why we do what we do. In a year alone, there are over 381 million tons of plastic waste produced. Sadly, just only about 9% of this waste have ever been recycled, like ever. We have another situation whereby we have a lot of recycling companies around, but the volume of the plastic waste in the environment not only remains constant, but also more in the environment. And so what we realize is that we have more people reusing this waste rather than recycle or upcycle them. And so my team and I have an environmental background and a background in shoe design. And so we started imagining if we could convert all of this plastic waste to footwear. We also realized that the potential for impact is so huge. The global footwear market is currently valued at over $264 billion per annum. And the sustainable footwear market is currently valued at $7.6 billion. And so for us, in about 5 years to come, this will be worth over $1.2 billion. And so we are targeting just about 10% of this sustainable footwear market share in 5 years. We are a team with core competence in customer acquisition and in design. And so we have complementary skill sets that is necessary to scale our innovation. I'm the CEO and also an environmental expert and a product designer. And I have a COO, we have a CTO, we have a CMO, and we also have key advisors from the likes of Nike, Disney, Adidas, Bombas, and also some VCs. And so beyond this, our target audience entails male and female. This range between people that are between low to medium level of disposable income and are seeking an experience of comfort, service, and service differentiation. And so I must show you what our value is. So you can see my picture here. This is our shoe. And so aside the fact that the shoes are made from plastic waste, they are also modular in form. Modular in form that they can be readily detached. So I just removed the black part and attached the the brown part. And so as a user, what we have done is that we have reduced, because this sole contributes to over 70% of manufacturing energy. And so that's what we are trying to reduce. And beyond that, aside just making shoes from plastic waste, they are also modular. That modularity will help you for the fact that the shoes are breathable, so you don't necessarily need to wear socks all the time. And so it keeps your feet from smelling. You can readily throw them in your washing machine. And so again, the shoes cost just $60. Each extra flap costs $20. And so for $20, you're not spending a lot buying an extra shoe. And so for a lot of people that travel a lot, this shoe also helps you to minimize your luggage. And also you see a lot of people that have a lot of shoe boxes in your homes. Now we are helping you to reduce your luggage, even in your homes and when you travel. For every shoe you purchase, you are helping to offset over 12.66 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalent. Because what you have done is that you have removed the the extra shoe, and so we are helping to reduce the carbon footprint. Now, beyond this, 5% because we realize that the downwind impact of the pollutants affect the people in the underserved communities the most, especially the women, we have decided to commit 5% of our profit to the cost of empowering women in underserved communities. Our acquisition channels are primarily digital, virtual, and so for us, our major acquisition channels, our social media and our website, and some other websites, online marketplaces. And in the coming years, we are hoping to also increase that revenue stream by having franchises. Our next step includes we've currently raised $50,000 to date, and we are currently trying to raise a seed fund of about $1 million to scale manufacturing and boost customer acquisition. 55% of this will be dedicated into manufacturing, while 45% of this will be dedicated into customer acquisition. I think I'm going to end there for now. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Okay, Fela, thank you very much. It's extremely interesting to see what you can actually produce that can be used every day. All the best with your efforts going forward. You're well within time, so I can have time for one anecdotal remark. Like 2 years ago, when I started working for the project, I started looking for products that were made out of recycled plastic. And my first purchase was a set of shoes for my wife, and these were made out of plastic recycling. So I wish I knew SALUBATA then, and now I think I can give the floor to the juries. Is there any question coming from the juries?
Thank you so much.
I can maybe start just a clarification question. So I like the idea of the modularity. I think it's pretty brilliant idea. Have you been thinking of actually developing some kind of take back system? So if I've just bought your shoe and after a couple of years the sole is not in good shape, so if I buy a new sole from your company, can I actually give you back the used one so that you can recycle it?
Yeah, thank you so much. And so the recollection system right now is not readily feasible right now, but in some couple of years it will be feasible, because right now a lot of people all over the world purchase our products, and so it's not easy to collect those products, and we're not doing that at a large scale. And so for us, yes, in some years to come, we are infusing some subscription model whereby the shoes themselves are not entirely bought, whereby you can readily bring back those shoes in about 6 months' time and get another one. And so you keep subscribing every month. So that is one of the models we want to incorporate when we are able to hit that particular critical mass. Thank you.
Any other question from the jury?
Yes,
I suppose Alessandra, just before I give you the floor, I suppose all of the members of the jury have the evaluation form, right?
Yes.
All right, perfect.
Yes,
so
right.
Alessandra, yeah, you have a question?
Thank you, Nico. Bonjour, Fela, and thank you for your presentation. Bonjour. You're very good in timing, and I would like to take advantage of that a bit and do some imagination with you very quickly.
I think we lost Alessandra, or
that you can envision for your enterprise.
Sorry, say that again.
Alessandra, we lost you for a minute there. If you could repeat the question.
Okay, I was asking about an envisioning question in 5-year time. How do you imagine that your enterprise will be?
Yes, so while I was making my presentation, I was talking about the sustainable footwear market. The sustainable footwear market is currently valued at 7.6 billion. In 5 years' time, this will be 11.8 billion. Our plan is to take just about 10% of this sustainable footwear market share. We started really early, and we are hoping that our competitors right now are currently unicorns. And so we are hoping to become a unicorn at that particular time. Thank you so much.
All right. So thank you, Fela, for your answers. Thanks the jury for their questions. So now it's time to move to the next one. I just want to say here that basically what we're doing in this competition, because obviously SALUBATA is a company and some other social enterprise, we're trying to see the kind of impact we have in our local communities, the wider community in terms of recycling plastic. So with that in mind, I would like to call Kiki and Martin. If I'm pronouncing Kiki in Greece, it's pronounced like that. So from Relic Plastic, Relic Plastic is a precious plastic verified workspace out of Lancaster, UK. It's a social enterprise focused on plastic recycling. So guys, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So just want to really quickly share screen.
Yep. I'll tell you when the screen. Okay, the screen is on. Okay.
Able to see that?
Yep.
Okay. So we're Relic Plastic. We were formerly Precious Plastic Lancaster up until a few weeks ago. So a little bit of our history is we started more as a community engagement project. So taking the machines out into public spaces as well as schools, marketplaces, festivals, to teach people about the problems with our recycling system as well as potential solutions, and getting people hands-on in the process because we use the plasticpreneur machines. And then in 2019, we moved into a garage workshop on the top right corner. And just a few weeks ago, we moved into a massive new space that we're calling the Recycled Plastic Foundry. And we also changed our name at that time to Relic Plastic.
So what we've started doing, partly we started with this community engagement side, and then we also did a couple of our own products to kind of showcase what we can do with recycled plastic. And particularly with COVID coming along and stopping all of our engagement, we focused more towards products. And now things are opening up and we have a bigger space, we'll be moving, kind of be doing both a production service where we make products out of recycled plastic and community outreach where we bring people in, show them the process, get them hands-on, and make a more transparent system. And so we're a very small scale production service in the grand scheme of kind of the plastic industry. But what we can do is we have a very low MOQ for people. Our setup costs are really low compared to industry for injection molding. You know, for us, you might be paying kind of hundreds for a setup fee as opposed to the big industry, which is thousands and with long lead times. So kind of we can bring products to market quite quickly as well, and help other small people, because again, as you said, people kind of in the circular economy industry are usually kind of smaller, hands-on, creative, and so we can help enable them to get started and then grow from there really easily. So we take plastic from kind of post-consumer and pre-consumer sources. So pre-consumer, one example, this top right is a company called Checkpoint Safety. You might have seen these little high-vis triangles on big lorries, wheels or bus wheels, the safety indicators. So we take their kind of waste rejects, we shred those, recycle them into products, one of which was a no-touch tool that we kind of made for the COVID world, so you could open door handles, push buttons without your fingers. And an example of some of the post-consumer plastic we take are bottle tops from people. So there are hundreds of people around Lancaster, and it's growing wider. We get crazy messages people trying to post their bottle tops from another county somewhere. So we take these bottle tops, again, we sort them into type and color because we separate all the colors out, which gives us our absolute unique patterns that we make, such as that pot down there.
So some of our main goals or our mission is to see more plastic being upcycled, and trying to raise the value of plastic by creating objects that have long-lasting purpose and value. Community engagement, like we said, hands-on experiences, bringing people into our space to actually do workshops and make things themselves. Sustainable production, so we like the idea that we do everything all under one roof, from both sorting and cleaning, shredding, to then production of these products. So it's all made in the UK, all recycled in the UK, and then democratize innovation. And now that we have a bigger space, we're able to bring groups in and work with, entrepreneurs or people in the community who are looking at creating something new and looking at more sustainable options. One of our mottos is less extraction, more proaction. And so the challenge that we're talking about today is that we really think it's important that we have transparent systems, and a lot of interest these days are around, choosing more sustainable options. We can tell, there's a lot of, eco-anxiety around the choices that we make these days. And so we think it's really important that all systems would be transparent, and we want to challenge standard industries to actually be more transparent in showing how things are produced and who is then also producing their items and where it's being produced. And so for ourselves, we're developing a platform that then also feeds back into these three goals, which is raising the value of recycled plastic, raising awareness, and reducing virgin plastic production overall. And so what we're after is an ICT solution, and something that we've already made, pulled together, is to track the process of what's being basically donated to us by our recycled plastic suppliers. So as we said, it can either come from the community or it can come from businesses. And then through our system of knowing what we have available to us through our production methods, and then at the end of the line, when somebody purchases something from us or from our clients, then they see what it's actually made of. And there's a lot of interest around that, of purchasing a plant pot, knowing where it came from. And as a bonus to this is if we can create something that then leads to either we can sell it as SaaS, or if we can put a little bit of pressure on the industry to change industry standards, because consumers then start valuing the fact that they are aware of where their products come from.
what we've created so far is basically being able to tell you, exactly what the plant product is made of, the soap dishes that we make, the combs that we make, from their original kind of waste source. So, we can tell you that this particular soap dish of this batch is made of coat hangers from Don't Ditch It, which is the project at the local university. When the students leave, they leave all their stuff behind, stuff that can't be reused, we'll take that. Same for things like Tupperware lids. There are other places. The scrap store, we've taken things from. Does Liverpool is like a maker space. So they were laser cutting sheets of polypropylene to make face shields for COVID, and their offcuts we would take. And so we have this kind of huge inventory system and database where plastic comes in. We separate it by color type, etc. And then we have to kind of log where it's come from and kind of what date, because one batch we might get will be different to the next batch, which makes the system really problematic, and especially compared to kind of like the big industry, where they'll be ordering, 1 ton of blue polypropylene. We're getting kind of maybe 50 kilos from somewhere, 10 kilos from somewhere else. And although it's all blue polypropylene, it might be from different sources and from different donors. So you can imagine this database kind of spirals, becomes really big. And then from a production point of view, we're trying to make a product that, say, is blue, white, orange. And we might run out of blue from one source, so we have to use a new one. So then we have to log that in the system. And then if you're doing a production run of 1,000, it might be 500 of one source. And now you have to change the ingredients list. So there are lots of challenges with this system, and it needs a lot of work into it because it shows this full transparency. So as a consumer, you get to see exactly what your product is made from, but also as the donor. So if you're a business and you want to say, well, I can definitely tell you that my plastic has been recycled by Relic Plastic into 500 pots, 600 soap dishes, and 300 combs, for example, because we've tracked all that. So this image shows that one blue donation cascades into all these different products that we've made at different times, or kind of product batches, and then you can see that we use a lot of the clear in many of the products. So that's the transparent system we're trying to build.
So there's a lot of evidence around interest in this with the Plastic Bottle Top Project, which is the community pulling together. And as we saw in the slide before, it's 66,000 bottle tops in the course of 1 year. That showed that people are actually really drawn to these products. So we've actually had a lot of interest in those colors over some of our others, just because people are aware of what the source was of the plastic that goes into it. And then we've also been working with various partners like Green Salon Collective, the Upcycling Market, and Polymateria. And there's a lot of interest in, rather than saying, I want to make a product that's this specific color or this mix of colors, they're actually saying, I'm not necessarily interested in the colors. I want them to be beautiful, but I'd like them to be from a specific industry waste stream. So I think being able to have a system where we track that inventory will allow us to then provide that as part of our services. And then, as we said before, this is like, the rise of sustainable marketplaces and businesses and eco-anxiety. This is an opportunity to kind of fulfill some of those needs by saying, we can be fully transparent in both our system as well as the resources that we're selling to you. And then our next steps, as you've seen, we already have a basis for our model. We've already developed it over the last year. But this is something that we need to spend a lot more time on building it out. And so we need to do some research and audit our systems and work with our partners to develop the platform further. And I think most importantly, we need to talk about measures of success. So obviously, we could look at this from the standpoint of creating software as a system and being able to sell it. But at the same time, there are other measures of success. So challenging and changing habits, because we are being more transparent and we're helping people to see the value in that. And we want other businesses to do the same. So the transparency in our own production line, we can tell people a plant pot was made out of something, but it's hard to kind of track that. And we'd like to be more clear. Adding value to businesses who are donating plastic to us for their CSR. So that's corporate social sustainable responsibility. And raising the value of waste materials. So connecting that back to the initial product that it was before it became what we're selling actually has a lot of value. We want to drive circularity locally, and that will get people more involved and people donating plastic or, trying to think up similar solutions and do something like this themselves. And obviously at the end, we want to see what we call not necessarily waste, but a material or an opportunity. We want to see less of that wasted.
Okay, so I suppose that's it, the presentation?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Well, we went a bit over time, but since we saved some time with Jessica, and Jessica, this is the value of saving time. So we can take 1 or 2 questions from our jury members. I think this is very much in line with what we do with Pop Machina. The provenance part is very interesting, and it's also about social accountability out of the people producing and of course the people upcycling. So any question from the jury? Alessandra, let's start with Alessandra, then we'll go with Dimitrios.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you for the presentation, the transparent presentation. Congratulations on your achievement of the new space. Very exciting. A quick question. If you would have to choose for now an imagination game again, a design representation for your project enterprise, what would that be? Product that would represent the whole journey, the output, the goal, the outcome of what you are explaining here for us today.
It's a specific product
To showcase the system.
We choose our plant parts because they've been one of the more popular products. The colors you can get on them are quite cool, and so again, like talking about that plastic bottle top project with that blue and white, because we have so many like blue caps that people associate with their milk. People get that direct relationship to where the plastics come from, as opposed to kind of, again, like industrial stuff that ends up being grey or black because that's the strongest pigments that they can all merge to. You lose that kind of that tangibility. Yeah, definitely the pots.
So Alessandra, you're right. Perfect. Dimitrios, you had a question?
Yes. Hello. Congratulations on your work. I think it's a great idea to be able to track the source and the destination of materials. I'd like to better understand what is your ideal customer profile, because you've mentioned the donors of materials, which could be private or which could be private individuals, who could be organizations that would like to have a positive impact. But you've also mentioned the ones who use the products in the end. Who is your ideal customer profile?
So we produce products for both retail as well as wholesale, as well as a service. So for example, we have Recomb. They've developed the product. They know their market really well. It's not our responsibility to sell combs because we're not hairstylists. But what we do is the production really well. And so I think for our business, our ideal client is actually other businesses similar to Recomb who come to us with an idea, and maybe they need help actually designing and developing it, or maybe they're already ready to go. But we basically do the entire production for them. So bringing in the plastic and developing colors with them for whatever, for them, they do seasons. So different colors throughout the time. And so we really want to work with other small businesses who have similar mindset of wanting to make an impact in their specific industry. So rather than us going out and just producing plastic products that we think people will be interested in, we'd rather work with people who know their industry and they know their clientele, and they want to also then bring people within their industry into it. So developing systems where they take plastic from their industry back to us. So for us, the ideal client are the small businesses who want to be more sustainable and produce products in this way.
And does this include the users of this software that you've showed us? Because I understand you have several revenue streams coming into the company, and one revenue stream is you doing production work for others, like Recomb. Another is you are producing your own products, which you which you offer direct to consumer maybe, or you offer through retail businesses. And then there's this software. Does this software is it meant to support the other activities, or is it meant to be a distinct revenue stream for your business? In the sense that you'll allow others to use that software for the tracking purposes, I mean.
Right. So I think for now, the idea is because we've seen a need within our process, but we want it to be usable by other workshops similar to ours. So anybody who's kind of dealing with the same problem of it's a bit of inventory management, it's a bit of donor management, as well as the end use of our material. So I think it's, if it's a solution that solves a problem for other people as well, then we'd like to see that. We're seeing a lot more people working with textiles, upcycling textiles. So if they can also be tracking, are they buying industry waste? Are they taking things from charity shops? This can also solve that problem for those businesses that are looking to do something similar.
Thank you very much.
The products that we make, one of the barriers we have is, people always talk about the price, because prices are kind of relatively high because we're paying for fair UK labour. You've got the collecting, sorting, cleaning, separating by type, bespoke colour mixing, or hand injection. That impacts it, but we want to create these long-lasting, beautiful products. But once you spend a few minutes with a customer and say the whole story, they go, oh, that's amazing. I'm definitely going to buy it now. Of course, the problem is trying to spend 4 minutes with every single person. It could be a customer. So the system complements that our idea is basically every product can have a QR code or a serial number, so people will be able to kind of scan that. They can see exactly what waste has gone into it. There'd be a video, showing the product being made to show that kind of the more artisan nature of it. So it definitely helps with selling the product, but it's also probably more. It's going to hopefully become more valuable as there's more responsibility for kind of industries. So more of the bigger industrial people that are donating their waste.
Let's keep. I'll start you here, Martin, because we're very out of time. So we're going to continue this discussion in the round panel, right? Because you're posing some really nice questions about the whole circularity and the maker movement as a whole, right? Mm-hmm. I think there's one more question from Mehmet. Is that Erwan? No?
Yes, Nicholas. But actually, I got the answer. But first of all, thank you guys for the nice presentation, and it's very nice, smart social project, I believe. And my question, to be better understanding, what are the criteria for the products to be made? I mean, most commonly used or most valuable one. What's the criteria?
So how do you decide where to put your time? Is that the question? Which one is most important for you? Okay.
Yes.
That was for my understanding.
Yeah, well, in this, we've said
quick answer.
Yeah. Where do we choose to put our time? I think, we've developed our own products, but I think for us, it's more interacting with other businesses. So the clients who are coming to us with ideas, we want to be producing for them. So we have our own list of products because we can make those, and that's furthering kind of the cause and the conversation. But all that is to us is a starting point to then engage with other potential clients. So I think our focus is really on building an industry around the circularity and working with other clients. So as a service production rather than making our own products and trying to market those on our own.
All right. So thank you very much. We'll continue this conversation. Hold that thought. We'll continue this conversation in the roundtable.
Thank you.
But now I would like to welcome Mr. Çela. I don't know how to pronounce the first name. Is it Xhenson? So anyway, representing Romix Community Comics. And
yes.
The goal is to promote social entrepreneurship, green and circular economy through producing handmade toys out of textile and second-hand clothes at this point, but also moving into other recyclable materials, including plastic in the future. So, Mr. Çela, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I would like to share the screen.
Yes, please.
Yes, so I will try to share the screen with you for the video. How should I do it? No.
I'll let you know if something comes up on the screen.
Well, it's a bit challenging to share the screen through the phone. I will go a cappella without using a presentation, an actual presentation. Okay. So my entrepreneurship, it's called the Romix Community Comics and Toys. It started as an idea during a social entrepreneurship course back a few months ago. The core idea is to produce handmade toys with recyclable materials, mainly textile and second-hand clothes, as well as wood products. The idea has a few novelties. Besides creating a niche in the circular economy by reducing waste pollution, especially of second-hand clothes and textile, which are dumped in river banks and also destroyed or exterminated without making another reusage of it. The idea aims also to achieve some social objectives. For instance, employ people from vulnerable groups, such as from the women from the Roma minority, and initially it started at the in Tirana, because I'm based in Tirana, in one of the administrative units where live a considerable number of Roma women that face unemployment and social challenges, access to social services. And the idea, besides providing employment opportunities to these categories, it aims also to stretch in other administrative units of Tirana in order to provide an employment opportunities and a labor market to the women, not only from the Roma minority but also from vulnerable groups, such as women prone to domestic violence. And moreover, the idea aims to create a niche in the edutaining market, as it aims to combine education and entertaining in order to influence the well-being of early childhood, especially with handmade toys that can foster and influence the intelligence and imagination of the children and the kids. I currently have purchased a shredding machine, which which will be used to shred textile and to fill the dolls and the handmade toys. Besides this, I also have purchased other equipment, for instance, an embroidery machine and sewing machine, and rented a small studio that is being used as a small factory to manufacture handmade toys. I was inspired by the idea from handmade toys in Italy, in Palermo, and I thought to also implement it in Albania, in Tirana, and especially to promote social entrepreneurship as a way not only to generate incomes but also to contribute in the community. The entrepreneurship, as I mentioned, has an environmental impact because it aims to use renewable energy, but also to try to influence waste reduction and pollution. and also to achieve the social objective to provide employment for Roma women and women in under the threat of domestic violence. Another novelty that my idea brings is that the customers, which are children 2 to 12 years old, parents and also collectionists, can purchase toys and also can exchange the handmade toys, such as they can like bring old toys to our factory for being repaired and to exchange them with new toys. Furthermore, the entrepreneurship aims also to create social events, such as on the International Day of Children, to create campaigns that customers can purchase toys, and these toys can be donated to orphanage or to children that are in economic difficulties. The entrepreneurship does not only aim to expand in Tirana, but also in Albania. And among the clients are not only locals, such as clients in Albania, but mainly worldwide, because of the fact that clients abroad are more aware of the environmental impact that the entrepreneurship aims to bring in the society. This was a summary of my idea and my entrepreneurship, which I should mention and highlight that is on its initial steps. But I would be happy to answer to any questions that you have. In the meantime, you can also visit my website, which aims to promote the products and also to create a space for the customers to engage, to share ideas, and also to promote social entrepreneurship all over Albania and beyond. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Just before I turn this to questions from the jury, I just want to ask, how do you see plastic waste being incorporated into your whole activities?
Pardon, can you repeat one more time the question?
Yeah, my question is, you are in your early steps, so you started off with textiles and other materials. How do you see plastic waste being incorporated into this effort?
Well, my idea aims to expand not only to recycled textile and wood, but also plastic, especially to use it in agriculture as object to preserve herbs, and also to make handicrafts products such as artistic toys, artistic objects that can decorate the space, office space or hotels and restaurants, in order to give another aim to the plastic.
Okay, thank you. So, Alessandra, you had a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Xhenson, very much for your presentation. Your mission-driven enterprise and very nice applications for the products that you are producing from this experience so far. I would like to do also an imagination game with you. And if you were about to have a team, build a team from your neighborhood and from where your studio is placed, could you share with us who these people would be, and eventually, no need to tell names, but the personas, their age or which roles that they would take to help you to shape this enterprise?
Thank you for the question. Before answering the question, I would also like to highlight that one of the not the customers, but partners in implementing the entrepreneurship are also ambulatory traders that trade second-hand clothes that are like the very least of the very least quality, and so I can the entrepreneurship can also be like a marketplace for this very poor ambulatory trader. Whereas regarding your question, on my website, I have published the colleagues and collaborators, because I don't see the collaborators as my employees, even though I like provide them with a payment or salary, but as a equal, let's say, partners. And I am collaborating currently with an artist, a painter and sculptor, and also a graphic designer. I have also hired like 3 women from marginalized groups that are tailorers and that have completed a VIT course. And among other colleagues are also Roma artists and non-Roma artists, as well as editors and translators. And I am of the idea that I don't have only to collaborate with them, but also to promote their work, and that's why I have published their social network on the website, so other people who are interested in their work can also look after their services, and so it's like a win-to-win situation for everyone.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other question from the jury? Not at this point. So, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Çela. So, moving on, stay with us for, sorry?
May I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, how long has this project been active?
The entrepreneurship, how long has it been active?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned since the beginning that I'm at
the months.
Very early stages. A few months, actually, yeah, a few months, and it was made possible through my participation in some local competitions in which I was awarded with small grants that made possible to purchase equipment and also to provide for 2-3 months employment or salaries for some of the colleagues. And I can say that it is promising. It is a promising entrepreneurship, not only for the environmental impact, but also for the social objectives, as long as it is well promoted and firmly promoted through social media and traditional media.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you, and just stay with us for the roundtable discussion. And with that, I'd like to move to I'd like to move to Alejandro Benitez, if I'm pronouncing it correct, from Palanquée.
La Palanquée.
So, okay, apologies for that. So, Palanquée is a Fablab in the Tao Basin area in France and a member of the Precious Plastic global community. So, yesterday we had a discussion with GreenLake from Plasticpreneurs, and we talked a lot about what Fablabs can do with the equipment. We also heard before that with Kiki and Martin. So the floor is yours to tell us more about what you do.
Thank you very much. Can you confirm if you see the presentation?
Yeah, if you could make it full screen.
Yeah, sorry. Oops. I'm probably gonna open the PDF because wait a second. Sorry. Okay. It doesn't work. Okay. Do you see it now?
We do.
Okay.
Yes, perfect. It's full screen. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So La Palanquée, it's a project created from an association in 2016 So we wanted to do a co-working space in the very beginning. And actually we got the label tiers-lieu, which means proximity working space in France. And there are many places like this, and we come to these places to do some different projects to gather people together. So we have an incubator, and we have accompanied already 10 people creating businesses and installing in the territory. We have a co-working space so people can come here, and we have a Fablab. And I am one of the assistants of the Fablab, and there's a Fab manager. And we started the building and everything 1 year ago. So even if the project starts in 2016, we only get the building and the machines 1 year ago. So in this year, just to give you an example, we have created a lot of events, so you can get them in the website. To tell you where we are a very, very, very small city in the south of France. So you can see it in the map right now. And in this small city, actually, we are meant to be the Fab Lab of 14 villages. So we have 14 villages which are around the lake Etonto and the Mediterranean Sea. So we do have a lot of plastic issues coming from the ocean, and we tend, what we wanted to do is to create a plastic, a recycling plastic community with precious plastic, joining the movement precious plastic. So there's already something happening in Poussin. This is why it is with the star, but I'm coming back that after. So what are we doing right now in this small year of action? We have provided a place for people to come here to do workshops around everything with zero waste and circular living. We are making our website a call to action for different projects in the city and in the area, so that people who wants to provide some time for free, volunteer their time, they can come and do stuff. We have collaboration with local artists and associations I'm going to show you after, and we have open source and circular economy sensibilization either. Our Fab Lab is it's constantly providing educational programs for people who come here and not knowing how to use a computer, and 3 days after they're producing pieces in a laser cutting machine. So it's very cool. And we also support, we have our website, as I said, as a support platform for new initiatives. So this is to give you an example of the type of workshops that we do. It's not designed by us, but we kinda go and look for them in the net. So this is one type of workshop that allows us to utilize, to use recycled cardboard plus paper, and you make a space of liquid, and then you press it with a 3D printed mold, and after that you're gonna have a piece of to put your clips and stuff from your office. So we kind of do this type of workshops to recycle not plastic but paper, and we use 3D printing to do the rest. We are working with collectives. So this is an association promoting the zero waste way of living in the city. So they are telling people how to use tote bags, how to not accept things that come in plastic bags and all this stuff. So we give them a place here to do their workshops too. And we are very much in collaborations. We get the opportunity to install a community compost in our building, so people can come here to put their compost, and we're doing recycling of bio waste, so everything organic. People now have the opportunity to come here and do the recycling. This is another association which we are currently working with. They have an associative market, so everything comes from the local agricultors, and you can buy them. There's a very participate way of paying. So you can donate a bit of your time, and that will credit you some tokens. And with these tokens, you can buy the products, and the products are always fresh, bio, and everything local. So it's pretty cool. So we give them a place too. This is some of the local artisans and artists. She is doing a small stuff with recycling plastic. So she's been coming to the Fablab to do laser cutting designs, and after that she used the machine to cut their stuff, and then she uses an embroidery machine to do the rest, and she sells the bags. This is Project Rescue Ocean. They are doing they've been coming here to the ocean and gathering people who goes to the beach to pick up the plastic, and so they are cleaning up the plastic from the ocean. So we give them a place to come here and gather people and come together, because we do have a small community of 200 people. We are an association, so they are associated. And so we send our newsletter, and on our newsletter, there's a lot of people who comes for 1 or 2 or 3 projects. So this is to give you an example of what we do. Last example is Cat Farm. This is the initiative created at Poussin, the other village that it's near around the corner. And what they do there, it's a place for people who volunteer to learn how to live in an eco village. So they have everything prepared to not waste, to have real zero wasting way of living. And you can come here as a volunteer to spend a week and help these people to continue their path. And they're supported by Erasmus in the European community. And these guys, they already have a collection point for precious plastic, but they do not have the machines to do the rest of the chain. And we are in contact with them to try to find the funds that will allow us to buy the machines, and that will allow us to provide some of the products, and then connect with the other associations, because we do have people who want to use the plastic to produce the stuff. So the rest, I am pretty sure you know about it. So we are looking to buy the pro machines to have the opportunity to produce a lot of products. I've been doing a small research of products produced in the Asia, Australia, and right now there's a lot of models. And I every time I see about it, I'm very encouraged to continue looking for the funds, because I do wait. I do hope that someday we're gonna get the machines. And so this is the actual plan of the actual map of France, our region. And if you try to look at the center, I don't know if I can point it, but there is a small place called Sete, S-E-T-E. This is us, and there's nothing around us. Not even in Montpellier, which is the biggest city. Not even in, I think the closest one is Marseille, but Marseille is very far. It's like 3 hours on train, and we cannot collaborate with them very much. So, and look around, there's a whole area of the sea, and we do have a lot of waste. And with plastic, with this other initiative I showed you, Project Rescue Ocean, we are constantly trying to bring people to the beach to collect the plastic. But once we collect them, we are not able to produce anything after. So this is why we plan to get the chain of production for precious plastic. I don't know if I did everything good, but I think I covered all my points. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you very much.
It was very good. Thank you. I mean, this kind of community-led efforts and this association with precious plastic has given rise to a lot of, very solid social impact-driven communities around the world. So we're glad to see one of them with us. Are there any questions from the jury? Dimitri, you want to ask something?
Yes, I'd like to ask, what do you see as the main source of income in the immediate future?
The income, but
Yes.
we wanted to create as we have creators who have already boutique.
Sorry, Alejandro.
Yeah.
One thing, if you could stop sharing your screen, so because we're seeing everything twice now. All right, perfect. Thank you.
It? Okay,
Yep,
thank
yep.
you. So I was saying we already are in contact with, for example, this girl who does the small bags. They all have a shop which is installed in the city, and some of the people who sell in this shop, they are ready to come here to produce stuff with the plastic and go and sell it, and then we're gonna take a commission on that. Our Fablab is an association, so we receive small funds from the government to continue running our business. So I don't think this as a profitable initiative from our business point of view, but it's hopefully a social business that's gonna allow other people to share the opportunity to transform plastic into something and do a small amount of money from it.
This is why I use the term income.
Yeah.
Didn't even use revenues and didn't use profits, although all of them would be equally correct, because you need definitely to have income, even in the form of grants. You need to ideally generate revenue. You need to make a profit. You don't need to distribute that. You can put it back into the organization to fund expansion and fund more of the things you need to do.
We do plan to put our products in the local shops. This is what we are hoping to do, but I don't have right now. I don't have a business model with financials to tell you, okay, in 3 years we're gonna rentabilize the machine, because we don't know exactly what kind of products we're gonna produce, because that depends on the molds, and we don't know what price we're gonna sell these products. But we do know we're in the path of doing it.
Great, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mehmet. I think it's a different name, right?
Yeah, Fatih. Don't worry, Nicholas. Thank you, Alejandro, for the presentation. My question is that, is there target groups you want to reach or to attend these activities?
Is there a target group? Yeah, the local artisans. Actually, we are studying this because they came to us to do the workshops, and we realized together that we didn't have the ways of creating this stuff. So we already have the people ready to produce the things, but we don't have the machines to do them. So our target group is already there, and it's about 25 local, between artists and artisans, that create the stuff. So some of them they are in expositions in gallery art, and some of them they have shops in the city and they sell small stuff. This is why I put them in the presentation. You can go after this. I think it's an Instagram link. But they all have a mindset around zero waste, local products, organic. If it's a limitation, it's going to be organic. So they're pretty much in the good mindset, and they are our friends more than our clients, and we wanna give them a place. Yeah, we already have the market, the target market.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other question?
Maybe just one question.
Yep.
I like the idea actually that because you're very nearby the sea, you can actually use the sea as a supplier of plastic waste. Do you have any idea actually of how much can be potentially collected? So how much collected plastics from the sea could actually be used in the future activities?
It's a good question, but I don't have enough experience doing the recycling in beaches, so I cannot provide you an answer, a correct answer. But I did came to do volunteering with Project Ocean, and we spent the whole morning till 3 p.m. and we collected more than 50 kilograms of plastic in a small day, and we were around 50 people in the area. So 1 kilogram per people. I don't know. That depends on the people. It depends on the area, and it depends of how many times you do it per week, per month. Yeah.
Just to complement.
Sorry. What is good on this thing is that the small community called Cat Farm in Poussin, they already have a collection point, and they are they are registered precious plastic, so people can see them in the map, and if you have waste, you can put them there. But they're getting already too much waste, and they don't know what to do about it. So we already have the waste, if that's your question.
Okay,
right.
Thank
so
you.
This is basically what I was trying to say, that you don't have to have only one source of plastic waste. This could be multiple sources. Poussin is an example, as the cat farm, as you said, is an example like that. And about the equipment, we had a discussion yesterday with Peter Sarlous, and we were talking about the grants and either national, local, regional, that are available for this kind of activities. And of course, there's also the big corporations and their corporate social responsibility teams that would probably be happy to support such a project. Stark Industries being one of them. I'm kidding. It's your t-shirt. Okay. So at this point, I think that we concluded with the presentations. So I'm going to hold on to you, the teams, and I'm going to invite. Sorry, I'm going to invite also for the roundtable Angela Chatzidimitriou, Ellen Vos, and Matthias. Now that's a name I can't pronounce. Verder. You have to correct me on that. So we can start a small roundtable discussion with the teams, and then you can pose some questions, and we can open up the discussion. Meanwhile, the jury members, if you could complete your evaluations for all the teams, so we can extract the results afterwards. I see that.
Also,
Yes,
on that
go on.
note, you may have not seen it yet, Nicolas, because you've been in the conversation, but Julie is going to set up a breakout for the jury members, so they can also deliberate together, discuss a bit more on the different contests. So Julie, if you take over from that side, you may. And the rest of us will stay here. And then maybe Helen and Matthias and as well Angela may introduce themselves quickly, and then we can start into our discussion round. Thank you, Nikos.
All right. So will you be monitoring the discussion round so I can be with the jury or not?
Yes, I will stay
All
here
right,
with in the roundtable discussion. So, Helen, if you would like to start, or as well, I see already Angela. Feel free if you would like to start to introduce yourself briefly to our contestants, and then we can go ahead with the rest of the team.
Okay. Sorry, my mute button disappeared, so I couldn't come.
No worries.
Teams isn't my first language. My name is Helen Vos, and I am one half of MakeWorks Scotland, which I'll tell you a bit more about later. I'm based in Glasgow in Scotland. Thank you for having me today. I've just joined, so I'm afraid I missed the presentations because of another online festival that I'm delivering, but I can get up to speed.
Thank you, Helen, so much for joining today. But yeah, that's the nice thing about the roundtable discussion and having also the other moderators here, Matthias as well as Angela. So we will have different points of views joining us. So Angela, if you're ready, you may introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited to be part of this and get to know all of your incredible efforts. So my name is Angela Chatzidimitriou. I lead customer experience for cloud computing at Hewlett Packard Enterprise. I'm based out of the Silicon Valley, currently on European territory. And I'm so excited for this because I really view the circular economy as a global opportunity, and my perspective is the ICT angle, the technological angle of it all. I feel that there's never been a better time to remove resource inefficiencies across the entire product lifecycle, and that includes the IT product lifecycle. The company I work for, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, we help a lot of customers adopt sustainable IT practices and make the most of their budget. So I'm really excited to be part of this conversation today and hear your stories, your business endeavors, and chat to you guys.
Thank you, Angela. Matthias, I see you also around here. I see also you've been there from the start today, so you heard the presentations of most of the contestants, so please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, hi everybody, and thank you for the invitation, and congratulations to all the teams for the presentations. The first idea was to present some slides, but I think it's boring now, so I will just quickly introduce myself. My name is Matías Verderoa, and I'm the director of Lichen Social Innovation. That is a social innovation lab where we design and implement participatory and citizen empowerment processes in different areas like health, education, sustainability, and so on, with private and public organizations, and mainly in Europe and Latin America.
Thank you for the great introduction. So we see already we have three very different kinds of backgrounds for our moderators of the session, which I think will perfectly cover all of the different aspects of our contestants as well. So that's very exciting. I would from now on leave the stage to our three moderators to ask more questions about each of our contestants and to create the space until, I have to check really quickly, until 12 o'clock. Maybe a little bit longer because we had a little bit of an overtime in the beginning. So let's say maybe to 12:10 for now. And this floor is all to you and the contestants. Now the question is who will start to talk from the three people we are having here.
I don't mind going first, and I did, Matthias, I did do a little presentation about MakeWorks because I always think images are, speak volumes, and so maybe I could just quickly show those images, not to use up all that time, but maybe it will spark some questions from people. If that's okay, I'll just quickly do that because, like Jess says, I think we've got very different perspectives and maybe we come in at different points. So is that okay with everyone?
Of course, feel free.
And also the MakeWorks model, it makes sense for this challenge, no? To trigger the conversations.
Yeah. Can you see my screen? It's good.
I can see a beautiful forest with snow right now.
Oh gosh, I can never do this right on Teams. Oh, hold on, it's disappeared. It's disappeared.
No worries. Teams is always a bit of a tricky one. We already realized that.
Okay. Well, maybe let me find. I thought I had it all set up and ready to go. I have it on full screen. Let's share my screen.
Also, really briefly, before we start, while you figure this out, Helen, I just give a really brief note here. So we have our 4 contestants, just to sum up really quick. SALUBATA, who has presented first. We have Relic here, as well as Romix Community Comics and Toys. And who am I missing? SALUBATA, Relic, and well, just our latest latest presentation, obviously, as well. Alejandro from Precious Plastic, Bonjour de Temps, and my French is really bad. So unfortunately, Wombata collection city waste pickers, Wambo city waste pickers were not able to join today, hence they're not being able to join our competition. So just as a quick wrap up from our morning. And Relic Plastic is raising their hands, so go ahead, please.
Thank you. We actually have a question for SALUBATA. We wanted to know a little bit more about how they use recycled plastic to make their shoes. Maybe the kind of plastic or what methods they use to make either the uppers or the soles.
Fela? Let's see.
SALUBATA still here.
Yeah, he's. I see Fela still being here. I'm not sure if he heard the message.
Hello, was there any question for me? I couldn't hear it well.
No, not for you. Thank you so much for jumping in, though. Actually, from Fela, from SALUBATA. He seems to be preoccupied. Or yes, now.
Yeah. So did you ask me a question?
Yes, hi Fela. We were just wondering more about your shoes and how you make them, because you said they're recycled plastic. So we were just wondering either the kind of plastic you use or how you produce the soles and the uppers.
Yeah, so the shoes themselves are made from PETs. So we are very selective when we collect those plastics. So they are clear PETs, and clear PETs can be readily changed into any kind of color. So they are drawn into yarns, and so the yarns are then drawn into patterns. So the patterns are used to making the shoes. Then for the soles, beyond because we currently utilize the insoles, that's the inside of the sole, are currently infused with air bubbles, and the reason is because we understand that it's not really we really want to target a lot of people. We believe that our impact will be more known or better known when we involve a lot of people, when a lot of people wear our products, and so we want to bring in aesthetics into even the design, and so that's why the insoles are infused with air bubbles. So it's really convenient. It makes you feel like you're walking on a cloud and makes the shoe even feel lighter. Then beyond that, so the shoes themselves. So for what we are doing in our own party is that because we realize that some other people have been making shoes from plastic waste, we are not the first people, and we felt like we could make modular shoes from plastic waste. And so with that, we're trying to reduce, because 70% of the energy that goes into shoe manufacturing goes into sole making. And so what we're trying to do is we're making people wear less soles and wear more shoes, literally. And with that, and so somebody asked a question about 5 years time. So we're looking at a volume of about actually having to produce about 1 million shoes made from recycled plastic waste, and also have, so because the downwind impact of these pollutants, the plastic waste, goes into what's it called? The people that really feel the impact of these plastic waste are mostly the people in the underserved communities, especially the women. And so, and that is the reason why we decided to commit 5% of every shoe sold to the cause of empowering these women. In about 5 years, we are hoping that we're able to produce 1 million shoes. And beyond just shoes, we're also considering making other products. And because these are yarns, they can readily be made into other products like clothing and swimwear and some other wares, like about 1 million products. And with that, we'll be able to offset over 40,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. And so, especially via our modular concept. And so maybe if you'd like to know more, you can email me. I'll be ready to share more. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Fela.
Thank you.
Callihan, do you want me to share your presentation for you?
Yeah, if you can. I was just trying to get the PDF because I thought that would help, but every time I share it, it disappears. So I'm really sorry. Oh, there we go. We have a Teams expert. This is great. Thank you so much for supporting me. Yeah, I just really, I suppose because I've missed the presentations, I thought if I very quickly just say a bit more about MakeWorks and where this might, where MakeWorks sits in some of the challenges and some of the products that are sitting, it might spark some questions maybe of me or of others. So it was just really to introduce you. So if you go to the next slide, you can see here that this is the landing page of MakeWorks, which is an online global library for local manufacturing and for materials. And you can see very quickly that from MakeWorks, we're looking to allow creative designers, members of the public to explore and connect with manufacturers, material suppliers, workshops to produce. Now that could be a sample, a prototype, a production run, a repair, depending on who the manufacturer is and what people are looking for. And then on the next slide, you can see that there's a number of ways you can explore the manufacturers that are listed geographically. You can see here that we currently run from Iceland up in the top left. It was quite hard to get everybody on the map, down to the UAE in the bottom right. And this is a growing network of MakeWorks regions. As Matthias said, it's a replicable model, so people can use that and build it around the community or the inquiry in their local area. It's really interesting listening to the two people that I've heard there talk about what's specific to their place and their locale and their proximity to others and the challenges that are there locally. So that's really great. There is also a more full inquiry where if you know more about what you want to do and what you want to search, you can search by material, etc. And on the next slide, you can see an example of a listing. So, the way that we are looking to get people connected into manufacturing, to test manufacturers, to explore their capabilities, is to provide these more full listings with detail of production, specification of machinery, of processes. We also have a new element on listings now where we're asking manufacturers to talk about their waste streams and to talk about their green credentials, their circular practices, those kind of things, so that we're looking at enabling users to really connect with what they believe to be, might be value driven around what they want to do and really kind of start those sustainable manufacturing relationships. So this is Flux Laser Studio, which are laser cutting and CNC routing studio in Glasgow. And on the next slide, it's just a bit about where this came from. So MakeWorks came about because of things like these uninformative, outdated manufacturers' websites that don't really tell you about what's behind the doors, what machines they have, what skills are in the engineers or the artisans or the materials they have in a cupboard that nobody's taken out for a while. So it's really about trying to open those doors and open that access to capabilities, to facilities, to skills, so that when, you know, a manufacturer and a designer or a member of the public come together, they can look at opportunities. And yeah, this sparked the idea of trying to get more accessible access to manufacturing locally. MakeWorks was founded by Finn Duffy Scott whilst they were studying product design at Glasgow School of Art. The seed was planted in 2011. And on the next slide, you can see just a bit more about kind of where MakeWorks itself comes from. We were just talking there about funding and sustaining practices. This is a question for MakeWorks because it is about providing free access. Public funding was sought, it was rejected on many occasions. What did get funded was a tour of MakeWorks, so you can see the camper van, and we believe the reason that got funded because it was about going out there and documenting who is still making in Scotland. Like, let's prove what we believe to be the case. So there was a tour of 3 months, over 3,000 miles, documenting these manufacturers. And on the next slide, just to kind of put in context where MakeWorks is and why I think it's great for Pop Machina and also the making it circular, is that MakeWorks is a part of the distributed design platform, which is also Creative Europe funded. So we sit shoulder to shoulder, or we stand shoulder to shoulder with Pop Machina and Centrino to kind of be part of this ecosystem of supporting, I suppose in our case, sustainable manufacturing, you know, whether that's addressing waste streams, addressing circular economy practices and principles about responsible sourcing materials, etc. And just on the next screen, I think, you know, to say that this through distributed design, and I think this is relevant for making it circular, is that for us, this speaks to that Fab City global initiative of, is it possible to go to the next slide? Sorry. Maybe there's a delay. Oh, okay. There we go. Great. Yeah, speaking to that Fab City Global Initiative, again, maybe this generates some questions from what's been presented, is shifting from this product in, trash out model to the data in, data out model to create this spiral economy. And then on the next slide, just to finish up, and again, I think this has come through your presentation, through the things that I've heard, is it's about people. MakeWorks is a good tool online, but the things like the collaborations, the opportunities, the traction, the impact happens offline because of people and because of trust and common purpose and relationships and collaboration. So it's really important that we tell the stories, which is what you guys are doing today. And on the next slide, just to show that we tell these stories online. And we do this through the stories section of the website. And this one is our latest MakeWorks story about Dixon water fountain. And that's a collaboration between two manufacturers in Glasgow themselves, both listed on MakeWorks. And the commission was by an organisation called Design Exhibition Scotland, and they wanted to work locally, but also, you know, challenge this kind of mundane and unimaginative design of water fountains with local talent, local creativity, local networks, local production, to really take action to reduce single-use plastic water bottles. And then on the final slide, you'll see Dixon again, but just to the right, we have a project that might be of interest, which is the PPE stool, which has been produced by Still Life Workshop, who are in the precious plastics community that we just heard about. And they created this using PPE waste, following a research project by Dress for the Weather architecture practice, all Glasgow based. And I show this because it'll be interesting to the challenge, but also that the Still Life Workshop are over the road to Mirrell, who made the Dixon water fountain. And for me, that's why I think MakeWorks and maybe some of the things that you guys are addressing is great, because we get to share what we experience in our local communities with manufacturing with other like-minded people globally. So yeah, I don't know whether that sparks any questions or thoughts or for those that have presented. Or for the other moderators, actually. Where do you guys fit in there?
Dave, you would like also to say something.
Hello. Thanks for that, Helen. That was really interesting. You mentioned about funding, and that always interests me as well. How do we get these things funded? One of the things I've observed is, and there are many options in this, of course, there's the kicks, EIT kicks, and there are various. I wondered, had you had a chance to look at them, or are they not in scope?
Specifically, sorry, is it kicks as in the model, or?
No, sorry, there's a program, a big series of initiatives, EU, and they're called EIT Knowledge Innovation Communities, and they cover a range of subjects. Raw materials, for example, is one that would be applicable to this, to your work that you've talked about, or manufacturing might be, or other ones as well.
I see. No, not specifically. MakeWorks itself became part of the distributed design platform in 2018. So we've kind of, prior to that, we were a private limited company. So like you say, it always has its funding challenges. So the MakeWorks itself, the HQ for all that are involved, has just kind of come into these bigger kind of European funding programs. So this is all kind of quite new territory. But like I said, I think this is really great about being in these systems and networks, kind of puts you alongside others, and you can see maybe where you can share or have those permeable, you know, kind of places where things can exchange. So no, I'd be pleased to know more, and also know where they, you know, where they might either geographically have you know, kind of have impact, or where they, you know, whether that's specific or whether that kind of is applicable.
Yeah.
I think especially as well for our contestants today, maybe we have to see this kind of opportunities, which may be also a part of how the type of consultancy that comes with the award through Nesta, Benedict Peaks, and Pop Machina itself, Ideas Forward, that would maybe help our contestants to find these kind of funding opportunities. Matthias, this morning I've seen you early on in the stage already being part and seeing our contestants. Maybe you have your thoughts with your background also on what we've heard so far.
Yeah, I've been taking notes of each presentation, very interesting, and I have some comments in general. I will just throw them and then we go step by step. But for example, in the case of Fela, I think it's a very powerful initiative, but also I ask myself, how do you conquer this market where are we used to just consume things just by their price or their marketing? That is a huge thing. So for example, in the case of shoes, they are, I think, maybe globally, they are equal to some kind of a status. And we relate shoes to sportsmen or some fashion icons, or how do you can treat that, trying to make good, because we kind of know that the people just for being better and be more sustainable are models that maybe doesn't work against the market. So how we can tweak these market insights, or this marketing insights to become more sustainable. That's one thing. In the case of Relic Plastic, also I think that the combination of the elements of this tracking system with this productive infrastructure, but also this approach of developing high performance products is quite powerful, but also as an infrastructure to create awareness in communities. This open infrastructure, also as Helen just said about MakeWorks, for example, how do we can change this approach that where everything was centralized to this distributed model that is becoming more powerful. For example, the best example in this case is precious plastic now, that is present in two of the presentations as something central of the proposals. So how this initiative with these distributed machines, open technologies are becoming more and more important today. For Xhenson, I have just the comment that I know that he's aware, but it's the opportunity to explain more about that the toys means learning, and this means education. So how do you use this power of education to use this object that is a recycled toy made by a handmade toy made with recycled clothes or plastics to go beyond in this message of education and become a more powerful product now? And in the case of Alejandro, just to highlight the fact that this community infrastructure to share knowledge and initiatives and projects, it's super powerful also in this regional level, but also that the collaboration is the key there, like to involve private actors, public actors, and communities is the key for success. So just that is a lot. Thanks.
Thank you. Also, Angela, I don't know if you have had the chance to hear actually from Relic before, but they actually had a very interesting further development from the precious plastic community, seeing how they adapted locally with their actually ICT solution. Have you had the chance to listen to their presentation? If not, maybe we can invite them again to give a brief overview.
Yes, I unfortunately haven't had the chance to listen to their presentation, but I would love to hear more and see their vision in a little bit more detail. I did look them up prior to this event, and indeed they seem like they have a very interesting concept. So guys, if you would like to talk to me a little bit about it.
I think there were some more questions also prior to your solution. So Relic, if you would like to deep dive a bit in more about what you've mentioned prior, so Angela can know more.
Yeah, so basically we're talking ICT solutions and what we can do with tracking all of our plastic stock through the process, because a lot of our plastic stock comes from either community projects where we're working with individuals out in the community who are collecting plastic bottle tops, and they help us then clean and sort them by color. And then when they come to us, we sort them by plastic type. And that allows us to then control our colors when we're actually in production. But then we also work with businesses. So we wanted to develop a solution that would allow them to see like the benefit of their CSR, so their corporate social or sustainable responsibility. So if they give us, rather than, well, at least in the UK, if you have a certain amount of plastic, you're able to sell that into the commercial recycling industry. If you have less than that, you would then get charged to then dispose of it. So a lot of people don't want to go through the recycling system because it's too expensive for them, and it's cheaper for them to just throw it in waste. So if they send it to us, they take that extra step to give it to us instead. We want to show them that there's value in doing that process. So it might not be value for them as a revenue stream, but it's valuable for them to see that their waste can then become something that's maybe not more valuable than their product, but that their waste is valuable within the system. And so all of our products are made with 100% recycled waste. We do it all under one roof, the entire recycling system. And then the other benefit of this is at the end, our clients, so the production partners that we work with, so other businesses that we produce for, as well as our customers who buy our items such as plant pots and soap dishes, they can see exactly what their product came from. So it might be, they bought a soap dish and it's white, black. There's clear in this as well, and there's green. And so what does that come from? Is it from coat hooks that comes from the local university? When all the students move out, they collect all the items. They try to then resell it or donate it to charities. And then at the end of that, we take everything that's like broken hangers, broken Tupperware lids, that sort of thing. The white might be from bottle tops that are collected. The clear might be from like takeaway containers, that sort of thing. So if somebody's buying our product, a part of valuing what it is understanding what it was before. And so developing a system that could be really tangible for somebody who picks up a product and says, oh, this green and black is really cool. But actually, when I look at the QR code, I can then go and see how it was made and what it was made from, rather than just saying, well, it's just a plastic item. And they're comparing that to maybe another plastic item they'd pick up from a pound or a dollar store, which, because everybody values plastic very low, we need to start restocking that.
The kind of organizations or businesses donating their like reject stock or whatever that we might get, is that they're able to then share the responsibility by saying, well, we would normally throw out these 300 kilos of reject plastic stock. We gave it to Relic Plastic and they have turned it into 500 pots, 300 soap dishes and 2,000 combs. And we can tell them like exactly what we've made it into and where those colors go. So it's kind of just a huge like database and inventory system. But the challenge is that it's very complicated because you might have like a product that you make using that green, and we use that green for a production run, and then maybe we run out of that specific green from coat hangers, and so then we have to transition to a different green, which then means we need to kind of change the ingredients list on the database, and like it might be, yeah, there's kind of like a lot of mix and matching as opposed to kind of a big industrial production facility which says, great, we're going to make 3 million products, we're going to order in 5 tons of this plastic, and that's what we'll make it with. You know, it's very easy. Whereas for us, it's kind of lots of different bits and pieces. We're separating all these separate colors and types. So it's kind of, it's a lot of effort.
Thanks for this overview, guys. I think it's a really interesting concept, and I had looked you guys up prior to today, so I'm familiar with the concept of what your business is. I think it's really great, and congratulations on your endeavor. I'm interested in both the technology that you use to track your database, basically. I wonder if you use any new technologies that allow you and will allow you to scale up and down, basically, hopefully just up, as you guys grow your business. Blockchain technologies are wonderful in terms of tracking where everything comes from and where everything goes as well. Very private, very data protection relevant. And also the other angle that I was really into as I would hear you talk is the circular economy report angle. A lot of big companies are now actually hiring or growing departments of sustainability and development within the companies themselves. And part of that, like they even have, chief sustainability officers and so on and so forth. So it's actually becoming a really big thing for a lot of corporations that might have nothing to do with this specific field, but everything to do with everything else. And they are asked to produce what is known as the circular economy reports, which is basically how they manage their own life cycle of products or services, and how they make it sustainable, and what are their sustainability goals that they commit to for themselves and for their clients. So I think what you guys are describing could actually really well be a helpful part of that element for a lot of corporations, and maybe that is also a growth avenue for you guys to reach out and work with a lot of companies and offer your business to them, just as a side note and thought.
I assume we'll respond. It's just we're muted, so we weren't sure. So yeah, going back to that, the first thing you said about kind of what we use. So far we kind of have like a basic proof of concept model which is just using a simple database. And I guess that's because this is something like we want to develop, but it's kind of in the background because at the moment it's not our main thing. That it's essentially like the lifeblood of our kind of business at the moment. Like this is what we're kind of looking for support on, because yeah, we know there must be things that track this sort of thing already, that we can just kind of drag and drop and change the bits specific to our thing. So in terms of like looking ahead, like this is kind of what we'd like some support on to develop further, because we know there's a lot of value in it. We've got the proof of concept, and we want to take that to the next steps.
I was just going to share that it's not exactly the same because it's not raw material or waste material, but I just put a link into Edinburgh Tool Library, who they did get funding through a project called Creative Informatics, which is looking at data-driven innovation in Edinburgh and southeast Scotland. But it wasn't the intention that it happened during the pandemic, but it happened to coincide. But they were looking at trying to, in their words, show what they know in terms of the difference they were making in sharing tools in their community, in the projects that they were doing. They originally started by working with a group called the Scottish Tech Army, which were essentially furloughed digital guys that were wanting to, and ladies who were wanting to offer support. But eventually what they did is they were already using something called My Turn. It's not something I'm familiar with, but it's a sharing library database. I'm sure they said like there's a really high percentage of sharing libraries globally that use it. But like you were saying, they kind of had the conversation, and what they've been doing is developing My Turn so that they get what they want. My Turn are going to implement it, and then sharing libraries can use that so that there'll be individual and cumulative data around the reduced carbon footprint. So I think what Matthias was saying about these kind of collaborations and generosity of thought and generosity of knowledge and sharing, you don't know if you don't ask, and you don't, kind of find out. And I think from what I've heard you've said, and this is probably the same with the others, is you give because you receive, it's a reciprocal deal. And I think what Edinburgh Tool Library are doing in terms of getting something for themselves and offering it back, particularly when you're thinking about growth and capacity, like Angela said, is what does that growth look like and which way does it go? Does it go laterally so that you support other people with the same challenge, because you've got your own CSR there as well as supporting others to get theirs too. So gosh, that's so fascinating. It's there's a lot in there, but yeah, step by step.
Cool. Thank you.
I would like to ask to Fela how he thinks that maybe because he already have a modular product, so how you can move to a distributed production now if you already have these separated pieces of the same product. How do you can produce in different places with using or triggering collective intelligence? No. If you have thought about that, Fela, maybe in the future, but just with a modular design, you are already thinking about that, no?
Hello, please say that again.
I said that you already have a modular design now of your product. You can separate pieces. Have you think about how to distribute the production of your product, for example, not to centralize and move everything around the world, to just produce locally things and connect them?
Yeah. So it's one of those things we've started doing while the shoes themselves. So the shoes themselves are actually currently produced locally. And so the essence of that is to be able to access those raw materials readily and create those impacts directly. But then for us to scale bigger, we would need to be able to infuse some funds to be able to do that. So we've been able to do that in United States. We're currently doing that in France. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that in a lot of EU regions soon. So it's part of our model, yeah.
I just say because you can connect to Helen and make a wonderful partnership there.
I'll be really glad to connect with Helen. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Then I would like to check in really briefly, as we have now almost 15 past 12, with Nikos. I think he has joined back. How it is going, if the jury needs a bit more time to check also in with Unesta, who is joining remotely only today, with the deliberation of the jury. And then we can see how we can move forward from there on. Nikos, can you share with us?
Yes, hello. The evaluation process has been completed. I have a presentation just to tell the teams what the evaluation criteria were, the ranking and the awards as described. I don't know if we are ready for that, or we need a short deliberation with, I think Nicholas is on the call. No? Who's representing UNESTA at this point?
There's nobody from UNESTA on the call.
Okay. So I have a presentation to share, just if you want to make it more official in giving out the rankings, it's up to you.
Maybe while we, Julie or anyone, just try to keep a catch up with UNESTA, just to make sure that we hear their thoughts as well. Maybe you can already share, Nicolas, the criteria on which we are actually choosing as an information for every one of our participants.
Right, so there were three main evaluation criteria. And the first one is the target audience defined sufficiently? The target audience, unless the target audience is defined, then it's not easy to see what kind of actions and activities and planning we can do for the future. So that's essential for any kind of effort, be it a startup or a social enterprise. The second evaluation criterion was that, is there potential for economic sustainability? That's one thing that actually makes or breaks. In the business world, this is taken as granted. But in the social enterprise world, it's usually not that straightforward. So that was one of the criteria that we thought that would help, would make sense for a social enterprise to have the impact they want. And the last one is, has the team gained traction or public engagement so far? We want to see teams that were a bit ahead of not the competition per se, but the problem. So gaining traction and actually having the public engagement that makes sense, be it a startup or a social enterprise, be it a startup that has a more national or international scope, or a social enterprise with hyper-local focus. Regardless of regardless of how wide the scope was, what we want to see is whether it's being achieved during the process. So these were the main three criteria. We try to keep it simple and impact oriented.
Thank you, Nikos, for sharing this background information. I think it's always good to hear for everyone to hear how we actually make the decision. In this case, not me personally, but the jury. So thank you for sharing that. And I hear also from the rest of our team that UNESTA has been able to share their thoughts as well. So that's very good. And before we move forward with the official award ceremony, which maybe Nikos, you can go on with that later in a second, I would like to just say a big thank you for all of the contestants who are here today, also to our moderators who have been there with me the last 45 minutes, half hour, and even longer. Thank you, Matthias, to fill in this space and to talk more about the initiatives, and that was very interesting to hear. We're happy to receive really this innovative and forward-thinking application from our 4 finalists. So thank you directly to SALUBATA, Romix community, Precious Plastic Bazaar, which is actually La Palanquée, and Relic Plastic from Lancaster. All of you have shown really amazing ways how we can address challenges of the circular economy, to how we can implement the circular economy in different ways. And so really congratulations to you today. That was amazing. And I would like to ask Nikos if you may share with us the results, or if you would like to share first some thoughts from the jury members if they're still here before we're actually sharing the final results, just to make it a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, make it a bit more exciting because I'm still in elaboration.
Oh, no worries. So I would like to invite any of our jury members, Erwan, Alessandra, just to share some thoughts while reviewing actually our contestants' work. Let's see. Alessandra, maybe if you are around.
Of course. It was a lovely exercise for us to deliberate and provide some critical feedback that I hope will also reach each one of the participants later on. It's always a challenge to make this choice, and the great aspect of the challenge in this event is that each participant will have an invitation for a follow-up interaction together with the PubMachina Consortium and also the other partners involved in the challenge. So I cannot think better words to say that I'm flattered to be part of this evaluation, and I congratulate you all for the achievement so far. And I'm hoping to keep in touch and also to receive your contact if you need anything here from Fablab Barcelona as well.
Thank you, Alessandra. As well as Mevlut, if you would like to share some of your thoughts from Istac's point of view, we're happy to hear also from you.
Hello again. Actually, I would like to thank all the participants for their projects, and then the ideas and their efforts are very huge actually in that part. I actually they give different ideas, different efforts, and I would congratulate to all. I mean, these are they did very good job, and hope I give luck to them, and then thanks for their presentations.
Thank you so much. Also, I think Dimitrios is still here. If you would like to share also some thoughts after the reviewing process of the experience.
I would also like to congratulate everyone who presented. You have amazing projects on your hands with the potential to create a real impact. And it wasn't an easy evaluation in the sense that there were each proposal had its own merits and its own strengths. So the good thing with SALUBATA is that there's clearly a product focus. There's already a prototype. This is a very well understood need, a very large market. It's mostly a matter of proper execution with good designs, with good distribution partnerships, good marketing. of course, good quality products. So this is, and it's one of those things that one of those projects that might help people get to know the benefits of circularity and have, contribute tangibly. And it could reach quite wide. And the good thing with Relic Plastic is that it has this element of using technology to help track the inventory of recycled material and track the source and destination of recycled material, which might make it more interesting for stakeholders to engage because they can know what their impact will be, and it makes the experience of using recycled products a much more engaged one when you can look up what has gone into the stuff you're using in your everyday life. So much more memorable and personal experience. And this is all powered by technology, which could be packaged as a platform and made available to more businesses, more producers of recycled plastic products. So there's an very interesting element of accelerating the adoption of recycled plastic production through the use of technology, which improves transparency. A completely different angle compared to SALUBATA, but very interesting one. Now the Romix community is it's quite early on the path. It has a hyper local focus to benefit the community, to help community members from disadvantaged backgrounds, and this is admirable, and it takes a very practical approach to do that. So there's a social impact, which is front and center primarily, not a entrepreneurial, not a for-profit activity, and it's still quite early. The precious plastic team from France could also have a very strong local impact if it was given the tools to actually be able to produce. They've already done amazing work bringing together a community, which is eager to get products into the local market and to raise awareness. So they're clearly under-resourced and they need support, because what they're doing matters. So not an easy choice, not an easy choice.
Thank you, Dimitrios, for your elaborate explanation. I can feel that moment for you all would have been was very interesting for sure. I don't know if I would have been able to make a decision, because as you said, there are so many different aspects to take into account here, and indeed really hard to make a decision here. Well, in any case, now it's already almost 12:30. So please, Nikos, feel free. Yep. You're ready, hopefully, to share the results.
Okay. So we explained about the evaluation criteria. Let's talk about the awards. The first position gets 2,000 euros from UNESDA, which is our sponsor for the event. It would also get coaching and consultation on investment readiness by Ideas Forward, and that depends whether it's investment from institutional funds or grants or any kind of funding. It will also get consultation on business modeling by the Pop Machina team. The second place will get the same, but it will get 1,000 euros as a monetary award. Third place will be supported by Benedict Pix for coaching and consultation on investment readiness, and Pop Machina on business modeling. And the fourth position is supported by Pop Machina consultation and business modeling. And depending on which country it was, it will be closer to the makerspace that can support it. So without further ado, and thanking everyone for their presentation and efforts, this is the ranking. Relic Plastic is in the first place. Congratulations, you guys. SALUBATA in the second place. It's the only startup business in the roster of the 4 activities. So all the best with you guys and in the future. Palanquée is in third place, and Romix Community Comics is in 4th. Now, over the course of the next few days, you will be contacted by the organizers to discuss about the awards and how you can communicate with ideas forward, Benedict Picks and the Pop Machina community maker champions to help you out with your business model. So that's it from me. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you very much for participating in our event. It was not a formal competitive call from Europe. It was something we organized because we feel like helping out in the community. So maybe we had some flaws, maybe we didn't have enough information for you, but we are always here to help you out, and we're here to support the maker movement across Europe. So that's it from me. Jessica, back to you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I would like to invite any of the participants, contestants, Kiki, Alejandro, anyone, to also share some of their feelings and maybe anything else they would like to share now. If I'm happy to invite you to open your microphone and say something, or if you have any questions.
Can I speak?
Yes, please, of course.
All right. Thank you so much. It's really exciting to hear about this, and I'm really glad that we found another cause to keep pushing. And so I'm really glad for the other participants, and it's great to meet you all. We are really very open, particularly we have other technologies around shoe manufacturing that we're about to release, and we can't, and even so our current project entails carbon decomposition itself, so not just carbon offset, but involves carbon dioxide decomposition itself, and we are using the shoes themselves. And we're really looking at partnering with Fablab in Barcelona, and we can't wait to meet you, and thank you so much for this award. Thank you.
I just want to say that Benedict Peaks is in Belgium. So it's close to you, and you can have a very fruitful discussion about funding schemes in the region. So I think Netherlands, Odos, Netherlands, my mistake. So it's you are close in the way the schemes work in the region, so you would have a lot to talk about. So thank you for being here as well, and all the best in the future.
Great. Also, Lala Palanquée, I'm sorry for not being able to speak French. Alejandro, if you would like to share anything, or yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I actually applied, as I said at the very beginning of the contest. I applied not knowing that we were going to be selected, and it's kind of awesome that you guys selected us and gave us the opportunity to participate. Of course, we are looking forward to meet the team and discuss for hopefully getting the machinery that will allow us to create our project. So we thank you very much for these connections, and we hope to meet you very soon for their I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm looking forward to meet the team responsible for the next sessions. Thank you very much.
Of course, we will get in contact with you, Alejandro. Don't worry. I will get into a little bit more details afterwards, but I would also like to give the microphone to Martin and Kiki from Relic Plastic if they would like to say anything.
Well, thank you very much. It's really exciting, and it's going to be really good to kind of develop this idea more. Because like I said before, it's kind of something that we've worked on, but it's hard to put a bit kind of time and effort because there's a lot of other tangible aspects you have to focus on, just to kind of keep the organization running. So now that we have more of a focus to do it, is going to be really exciting because we see so much value in it, and obviously you have now, which is really great because that reinforces the enthusiasm from us to progress it, and hopefully we shall change the industry to become more transparent.
Yeah, so great seeing what other people are doing as well, and hopefully like this kind of solution will be helpful for a lot of other maker spaces.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, definitely.
If I may say something, Jessica.
Please go ahead, of course.
First of all, could someone unpin me because I see my face only? And the other thing is that I think that the most important thing about any kind of competition and challenges like that is that you now have access to people all around Europe, even if you didn't before. And you also have access to the experience and expertise they have. So take advantage of that. It can open up new opportunities. It can create, a multiplication factor in anything you do, be it participating in research or moving on to other markets or what have you, depending on your point of view and where you come from and your goals and vision. But it's a network. Right? So don't hesitate to contact any one of us and start a discussion to see what we can do.
Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing that, Nikos. So yes, as I mentioned before, thank you so much to everyone, to the contestants, first of all, for being on the field for our mission, for our values we would like to share. And really moving towards a more circular economy with their very practical applications. So amazing job for you. I also would like to thank, obviously, Pop Machina, Reflow, Unesta, Benedict Peaks and Ideas Forward for their support in making this challenge actually happen. Without you and the amazing contestants, we would have not been able to have this exciting event. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier already, we will get in contact with all of you contestants for further procedures for the getting in contact with Benedict Peaks and also for the acceleration program, which will start in early 2022 from Pop Machina. So we will share with you all of the details and yes, as Nikos mentioned as well, like we're all part of different networks, but we actually belong all to the same somehow. So let's keep in touch and come with any of your questions also in the future to us, and we help wherever we can.
Not to mention local ties for vacation, right? Traveling around you.
Yeah, all of you are more than welcome to at any moment to come to Fablab Barcelona. We're always happy to have any like visitors from all over Europe and the world. So please feel free to come if possible for you. And yes, so with this, we're closing our today's event. We will make everything available afterwards for all of our participants as well. We will share the recording, insights, and useful links on the participants' presentations from yesterday as well, as soon as possible. Maybe Julie can also share again our social media channels from Pop Machina and making it circular for any news in the future. And with this, I would say a final thank you. I said